Hey, today I want to talk about something that it sounds futuristic, but it's suddenly become quite real. Robinhood has announced new tools that would allow AI agents to trade stocks and even make purchases on behalf of users. In other words, ordinary investors may soon be able to hand part of their financial decision making over to AI. And honestly, I think this raises some fascinating psychological questions. To be clear, algorithmic trading is not new. Wall Street firms and hedge funds have used automated systems for years. But this time, this feels a bit different. You know, Technology is moving toward ordinary people, me and you, retail investors, regular traders, people holding their phone and working a brokerage app. And the real question may not be, can AI trade stocks? The real question may be, what happens to us psychologically when we stop making our own decisions, right? That's the part I keep thinking about. You know what I mean? That's kind of, I don't know what they call that, but that's like, that's the part that just kind of sticks. And I'm like, you know, do, do I want something outside of me making decisions for me? And when that decision goes south, who pays the price? It doesn't. The AI bot doesn't. It's my money, right? So investing has never been purely logical. If it were, would nobody would panic when the market drops, or when the market bottoms. It's that's why we panic, because it's an emotional thing. We wouldn't chase bubbles. We wouldn't we wouldn't FOMO into trades after a stock's made a giant move, and you're thinking, hey, maybe I can squeeze just one more drop out of this lemon. So you jump into it, and then what happens, right? Maybe, maybe what happened yesterday will repeat today. Maybe, and you tell me if it ever does. It's like every day, like snowflakes. No two snowflakes are the same, right? Under a micron electron microscope, they're all different. Same with trading days. There's so many variables. So the market's always been emotional. It's loaded with fear, hope, greed, regret, excitement, envy, right? Like your buddy texts you and says, hey, guess what I got? And you didn't get it. And you're like, hey, okay, good. That's great. I'm happy for you. So the emotional side of investing is a huge part of what makes markets move. And now we are entering a world where people are going to say, I don't need to know how to trade this stock. I'll let AI handle it. I don't need that knowledge. I'll just put it on auto and let it do it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, just how hands off are we willing to go? That might sound really appealing at the beginning, like, hey, that sounds great. Like a washing machine, you throw your clothes in there and you don't think about it at all. Just when the buzzer goes off, you go and throw it in the dryer. It's doing it so we don't have to think about it. You and I, we don't have to go get a bucket and scrub our own clothes and spend 3 hours working on the clothes, right? While the machine's doing that, we can go do something else. So that part is okay, the automation, but it's the thinking part. Do I want that thing thinking for me like that to such a degree, to such an extent, right? Like, what's going to happen when people slowly disconnect from understanding what they actually own and why they own it, right? See what I'm saying? In a bull market, an AI bot, I think that's what it's going to be. They may work fantastic. They may look brilliant. Hey, everything's working great because the market's going up and anybody can make money in it. But what about during a downturn? What about during a panic? What about a crash? What about, like, if there's suddenly some war somewhere? You wake up at early in the morning and, hey, front page news. Gee, there's somebody just bombed somebody else, and everything you planned is, suddenly tits up, right? I don't know if people are going to trust AI then, right? So all those things are still going to be going on. It's not like that's all going to stop. So anyway, I think it's an interesting story. Um, and here's another point: just because AI enters the picture, that doesn't mean that human psychology and human emotion gets put on hold. Not at all, right? Again, it's like a washing machine. It's a machine. It does what I need it to do while I go work on something else. But if the machine starts spewing water and soap and suds, and if the machine breaks down and it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, then the floor is flooded out, right? If that machine breaks down or that machine does something wrong, you know, I got to deal with it. The machine can't fix itself, right? So I think if people start trading with this thing, I think we're going to be looking at entirely new forms of crowd behavior. You know, um, Robinhood says users will be able to set limits, approvals, and controls for the AI agents. And that tells you something right there. It means that even the companies that are building this technology understand the risk involved. And probably to even use the thing, you're going to have to click through all these things. Yes, I agree to this. Yes, I agree to that kind of thing. You know, because you're still going to you will still be liable for your own losses, probably. Um, Also, there's another question: at what point does convenience become surrender? Right? It's a convenience for this AI to do my trades, but at what point am I just laying down and saying, you do it all, you handle everything, and not just in investing, but this AI is entering every aspect of our life. So not just investing, but in our entire life. At what point does convenience become surrender? Because more and more of our decisions are starting to be outsourced. What to buy, what to watch, what to think, what to read, what to invest in, what to eat, right? What should I eat tonight? Chat. What do you think, chat? It's a Tuesday night. And, you know, chat says, "Oh, why don't you grab some takeout Chinese?" So now it's when to buy stocks and when to sell. So, yeah, AI is and could and probably will become an incredible tool. And maybe it'll help people avoid mistakes. Or maybe people will become even less aware of their own psychology because they stop participating consciously in the decision making process and learning how to trade too. I don't know. Jury's still out. This is all brand new. But I do think we're entering a completely new era. It's an era where the relationship between human beings, money, and decision making is starting to change. And I think that's worth paying attention to. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you trust AI to trade your portfolio? Right? Because it really does help the metrics. Please take a moment, click like, add a comment, subscribe. That would be fantastic. We are young and new and just starting out here. So um, I'm scraping around looking for good content to send your way. I'll see you next time.